Hello everyone, I hope you're well. Today's video is going to be about Jane Eyre Retellings. I have a graphic novel and I have a novel to share with you. I read Jane Eyre last month for my book club that I run on the channel and I absolutely adored it. I loved it so much that I couldn't get enough Jane Eyre. So I have now read 2 retellings and I'm going to share them with you. First up, I'm going to start with the graphic novel. This was originally published in French and this is called Jane the Fox and Me. And this is about a little girl who's being bullied at school, and at the same time that she's being bullied she is reading Jane Eyre. So the little girl's moments within it are in black and white and the ones with Jane Eyre are in colour, and I love how she's talking about Jane Eyre and Jane having this difficult childhood and being picked on, and the little girl's comparing it to her own life and being picked on. This book, I would say, is about bullying, but it's also about loneliness. It's about feeling that you don't fit in with the people around you, and I just adore this so much. I read this a few years ago. I bought this and I hadn't read Jane Eyre and I got this and I fell in love with it, and that's what made me think, oh, I'll have to read Jane Eyre one day. But I love this, the language of loneliness that it talks about I could really relate to, because when I was a child I went through stages of being bullied and stages of not being a part of friendship groups because I'm quite an old-fashioned person. I didn't really fit in with kids of my own age. And so because of that, I felt her loneliness. I felt the not trying to find people that have the same interests as you and really finding it difficult. Because if you think about it, you're put in school with a bunch of strange kids and you're expected to get along with them all and you're expected to find a best friend. But what if you've got nothing in common with any of those kids? I was really into drama. I was part of a drama club. I loved it. That was outside of school. And I was very much, my favourite movie was Breakfast at Tiffany's by Audrey Hepburn. I was very old-fashioned. My Fair Lady was my favourite film as well. I used to listen to music like Elvis Presley, Dolly Parton, Shirley Bassey, Cher, Celine Dion, like those kind of people. People that you think like kind of gay icon people, those people, Madonna, they were the people that I just loved their music and still love their music today. I love the flamboyantness of it, Elton John, and kids of my own age just weren't into that. They were into like pop music at the time. So I remember feeling that loneliness and feeling like I didn't fit in with anyone there and being picked on for that. This book literally broke my heart, but it also transported me back to a moment of time of feeling that loneliness. And oh, I loved it. I cannot recommend this enough. I think I've spoken about it several times on the channel now. I just adore it. I think it's stunning and I love how she weaves the story of Jane Eyre into the story as well. Absolutely beautiful. Love that. Next up I have the novel. This is Wide Sargasso Sea by Rhys, and this is the story of the mad woman in the attic. So I'm not going to spoil you for Jane Eyre, but in the story of Jane Eyre, your main character is Jane Eyre and then you have a man called Rochester and they're the 2 main characters. There is also this weird other character who's described as a mad woman in the attic, and anything we know about that woman is through a man. So it's a man telling you about this woman and her character and why she's in the attic and everything to do with that. But we never hear anything from the mad woman herself in Jane Eyre, and that's it. So this book is a story of the mad woman in the attic telling her own story, starting from her childhood, how she got to where she is, everything that happened to her. I think this is such a genius idea because there's so many retellings of Jane Eyre herself as the character or Rochester or then put into present day, but to take such an obscure character and create a whole life around her, I think is amazing. So this came out in 1966 and it is set in the Caribbean in the 1830s, and it begins and there's a little girl called Antoinette and she is telling you about her life. She lives with her mother. Her ancestors used to be slave owners and the people around her hate her. So people who live in the village hate her because they say your ancestors used to enslave us. We don't like you or your mother. There's something wrong with her mother. You don't quite know what. You know, it's some kind of mental health things going on with her mum. Her mum's very depressed. She's not doing very well. Her mum then marries a man and they have a child, and then something happens and that child dies, and her mum, Antoinette, is told your mum has gone mad. Your mum has gone away. She has gone mad. So then Antoinette, she goes to live with nuns and she is like there with nuns, and then it flips narrative. So then the narrative changes and all of a sudden there's this man talking and we don't know who the man is, and the man we can assume is Rochester and he has just married Antoinette. so we don't know anything about how they got together. He's telling us how they got together and his opinions on her, what he thinks of her, and he thinks there's something wrong with Antoinette. So he's kind of building the narrative that she's mad, there's something not quite right with her, I don't know what it is, that he doesn't understand. Oh my god, I don't want to spoil it, but it's so good. Oh my god, it was incredible. And there's a lot also to do with race within the book. Antoinette is described as being Creole of English descent, and a lot of people around her have a problem with that. They have a problem with her skin colour and her family history, and then you have this man all of a sudden who's married her, and oh, I'm trying to hold back what I say because I don't want to spoil it too much, but you just get to see Antoinette from herself and then from a man observing her, and then it goes back into Antoinette's narrative and she says how she's feeling, and it takes you all the way up to how she got stuck in that attic in England, because it obviously starts in the Caribbean and then they move around and then they get to England, and how she got to England and got stuck in the attic, and what happens at the end of Jane Eyre plays out in this book as well. And it's really about madness, but it's also about women and madness, and men saying that women are mad when they're not, and making women go mad in that way by mistreating them. And it's really about gaslighting, a lot of it, which I think does make people actually go really like mentally ill. And gaslighting is when you say to someone, so say I unlocked the front door and you went to the front door and said, oh, the front door's unlocked, and I said, oh yeah, you didn't shut the front door. But really, I'd opened it after you'd shut it. And if I make you feel that stuff that you think you've done, you haven't done, or make you feel that you did stuff wrong, that's what gaslighting is. So I would say, if you got really drunk and you couldn't remember last night, I would say, oh, last night you hit me in the face, even if you didn't hit me in the face. So I would put guilt on you and manipulate you and make you question your reality. And gaslighting is so dangerous, and it happens to so many people in so many relationships, because it makes people question themselves. So you become like dependent on the other person who's gaslighting you, because you think, God, I don't know my own mind, I don't even know what I'm doing, this person's telling me what I'm doing, I should trust them because I'm losing control of myself. And that's what I felt this was a lot, and this was gaslighting. And to do with Antoinette's mother and what happens to her, I thought this was absolutely incredible. Oh my god, I loved it so much. And also the way in which it's written, it's so detailed, it was heartbreaking. Everything was just so stunning. From start to finish, I couldn't stop reading it. I thought it was such a stunning book. This book has been turned into an opera, it's been turned into a film, it's been turned into a TV series. Stevie Nicks read the book, saw the film, and wrote a song, sorry, based on the book, because she loved it that much. So this is something that people really love, and I totally understand why. I cannot wait to watch the film. When I watch the film, I'll review it on the channel, but I loved this book. Oh, I thought it was so in depth about human emotions and about like domestic abuse, and abuse that doesn't have to be physical. People can mentally abuse you, and oh my god, like I don't want to ruin anything in it. It's so good. You need to read it and tell me what you think about it, because I absolutely adored it. And that is it. That is the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're gonna pick up one of these books. If you have read them, give me your opinions on them. Tell me if you like them or not. And I hope you like this video. I will of course see you tomorrow for another one, because I'm making a video every day in July. So I'll see you tomorrow for another video.